Anna.
Hey, Hurricane Nicholas was at tropical storm strength when it impacted the Houston metro, but it was still strong enough to knock down enough trees to knock out power to thousands in our region. Many of those trees also caused thousands of dollars worth of damage and cost thousands of dollars to remove. Some of those trees would have blown down no matter what. But what can we do to make sure our trees are strong enough to stand up to the winds of the tropical season and our Texas weather? Well, Tim Jackson is an arborist with Davey Tree. And Tim, I guess we shouldn't be surprised that trees will come down during windstorms. But what kind of things do you suggest we do as tree or homeowners to make sure our trees have a better chance to survive?
Really, the best thing to do is start by getting a Davey arborist out there on site so we can evaluate the trees, check for hazards, look for structural defects. Some of that is freeze damage. Some of that's going to be just mechanical injuries from the freeze. There's just a normal amount of trees that have just V-shaped crotches and require cabling and just proper pruning to reduce that weight and the wind sail effect on them.
Question about that pruning thing. Is there a certain time of the year for pruning to cut down on those canopies? Should we do it, for example, in the spring ahead of hurricane season, or does it really matter when you prune the trees?
Well, ideally, you'd like to get ahead of hurricane season and try and lighten the load on the tree's limbs, lift where they need to be lifted, that is elevating over the roof, over the driveway, back from power line service drops on your property so that your power isn't going out from the telephone pole to your house. All of those things can be done and ideally are done prior to the storm. Otherwise, we're finding out like we've just had this storm that we have to go back and maybe get trees out of the way just to restore the power.
So if just regularly thinking about pruning, I've had somebody come say, well, you know, you want to do it right after the winter or before the summer. Do the trees care what season you prune them?
Not so much. Where we're in disease pressure areas, there's some oak wilt pruning restrictions if we've had oak wilt in an area. But apart from that, they don't care too much when you do it. A fruiting tree, flowering tree, you'd like to do after the bloom, given our druthers. But really, you need to do it when the necessity is there. When the evaluation occurs and we look at the tree and say, hey, we've got too much weight on this limb, we've got a structural problem here or a hazard tree there, that would be address those things right away.
So that's good. That's good to know. Let's talk about disease trees. Looking at some of the trees that were blown down this past week, it was clear that some of them had some disease damage. It obviously made them weak, not able to stand up to the winds anyway. How can we figure out if our trees have disease? Other than calling an arborist, I get that. How can we know? Because a lot of that stuff is inside the tree. How do we know that there's disease involved?
Sometimes an evaluation could be done by a client. And if you're a homeowner and you've got your trees and you love your trees and you see them every day, you probably don't pay as critical attention to them as an arborist would. But you can look for fungus around the base of the tree, shelf fungi on the trunks of the trees, mushrooms growing up under the tree. That can be Ganoderma fungus on the trunks. You could have armillaria root rot that would be pushing up mushrooms near the tree. And then again, call an arborist to confirm it. Also, when you're looking at your tree, if you've got some tip decline, you've almost always got a root issue. Maybe it's sat in the pool of water, sprinkler went bad or something. That can lead to phytophthora root fungus, which can cause a tree to fail and become hazardous.
Okay, you use a couple of words there. I'm going to have to go get Google out and figure out what you meant. But I think I understand the main tip here. So fertilizing is pretty important too, though, correct?
Yes, sir, because you can't grow a new root until you grow a new shoot. If we can establish a good, strong root zone, you've got a better foundation for that tree to withstand wind and rain.
You know what? I feel so much more knowledgeable now, Tim. I think I'm going to go out and be I'm going to just give advice to my neighbors now based upon this. Thank you so much. From Davey Tree, Tim Jackson, thank you for what you do, and we look forward to a lot of good people taking your advice and keeping the trees alive for a long time to come. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.